High above Earth, the alien commanders stood on the bridge of their massive warship, gazing through the reinforced windows at the blue and green planet below. The lead commander, a tall, severe-looking figure with a shimmering, scaled exoskeleton, folded his arms and narrowed his eyes. "Primitive," he scoffed, as if offended by Earth's very existence. "This species is hardly worth the effort." The alien strategist at his side, a creature with an array of pulsating neural tendrils, reviewed the planet's intercepted broadcasts. "They're as scattered as we expected, Commander," he reported with satisfaction. "Their military forces are fractured across borders. Their weapons outdated and inadequate. This conquest will be little more than a formality." The commander exhaled with impatience. "Then let us waste no more time." He turned to the rows of soldiers waiting for their orders, each one equipped with armor that shimmered under the dim, sterile lights. "Once we make landfall, the humans won't know what hit them. We'll disable their communications first. An isolated enemy is a vulnerable one." Another alien, standing at an observation terminal, projected a holographic map of Earth in the center of the bridge. The map highlighted critical infrastructure, communication satellites, power grids, major population centers. "Our initial wave will focus here," he said, indicating a network of locations across the continents. "Once we disrupt their ability to coordinate, they'll fall in line. We'll use minimal force. They'll be too disoriented to resist." "Precisely." The commander nodded, pleased with the meticulous plan. "A few targeted attacks, and we'll have them on their knees before nightfall." He shot a glance at the map's red-marked areas, each a potential stronghold. "Let them struggle. Their resistance will be over before it begins." They spoke with the assuredness of conquerors who had done this before. In the commander's mind, humans were predictable and manageable, more nuisances than true adversaries. He saw no need to overestimate their capabilities. Instead, he believed his forces would only need to apply minimal force to inspire the humans' immediate surrender. The strategist activated the warship's communication channel, signaling the fleet's readiness. "Phase 1 commence," he announced, his voice echoing across the bridge. A flurry of smaller ships detached from the main warship, each one moving to disable key communication points and plunge Earth into silence. Watching the ships deploy, the commander's confidence only grew. "By the end of this operation, the humans will have no choice but to submit," he declared. He glanced around at the faces of his officers, each reflecting the same smug assurance. They all knew the strength of their empire. They had seen countless worlds crumble under their might. In their minds, Earth would be no different. The alien intelligence officer reviewed data on Earth's defense systems. "Their technology is a century behind, at least. They lack energy shields, cloaking devices, even basic interstellar travel. This species relies on combustion engines, Commander." "Combustion." The others chuckled at this revelation, entertained by Earth's perceived backwardness. The commander could hardly contain his smirk. "They're children playing with sticks and stones, thinking they can defend themselves. We'll show them the reality of true power." Just then, a junior officer stepped forward with an update. "Our ground assault teams are prepped. They'll secure major cities, neutralize any organized forces, and gather human leaders to negotiate their surrender." The commander glanced once more at Earth. "Excellent. Let them witness the scale of our technology. They'll be too awed to resist." As the first wave of ships descended through the atmosphere, the commander's voice echoed through the fleet's communication network. "Remember," he instructed his troops, "these beings are incapable of matching our strength. Do not waste energy on unnecessary precautions. Their response will be insignificant. Focus on efficient subjugation. By tomorrow, this world will be ours." One of the senior tacticians raised a question. "Commander, what of their spirit? Humans, we're told, have a history of resilience." The commander's eyes flashed with irritation at the suggestion. "Spirit," he sneered. "The resilience of a species like this is nothing more than a reaction to its own weakness. They're no different from any other inferior race we've conquered. They may resist, yes, but it will be short-lived and easily overcome." With that, he dismissed any further talk of human tenacity. "Prepare the second wave," he ordered. "Deploy the suppression fields. I want their cities paralyzed." The commander's plan was as direct as it was ruthless. After disarming the humans' communication capabilities, they would unleash targeted shockwaves on urban centers, triggering disarray. These fields would disorient the population and eliminate any organized efforts before they could begin. The image of a swiftly conquered Earth brought a smug satisfaction to the bridge. But as the alien soldiers prepared for their next steps, a subtle unease passed through a few of them. They couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Humans had responded faster than anticipated to their initial approach, and while no one openly questioned the commander's judgment, a few wondered if Earth might surprise them yet. Still, confidence overrode caution. The commander waved his arm, signaling the deployment of the first landing teams. "We shall soon see how long these spirited humans last in the face of real power," he said, an unmistakable note of finality in his tone. The warship's engines rumbled to life, and its weapon systems charged, casting a cold glow over the bridge. The alien fleet began its descent in earnest, their shadow falling across Earth's skies, blotting out stars. To the commander and his officers, this was the dawn of their inevitable victory, the moment when a primitive world would bow to their supremacy. But as they approached Earth's atmosphere, Earth's defense systems flared to life, readying for the impossible fight. The first hints of resistance glimmered in the sky, flickering like distant stars, and for the first time, a flicker of doubt crossed the commander's mind. Just a flicker. "Let them try," he muttered to himself, still confident, though with a hint of hesitation creeping into his voice. "They'll be nothing more than dust by the time we're through with them." And with that, the fleet plunged into Earth's atmosphere, the commander's confidence leading them forward, unaware of the resilience awaiting them below. The alien fleet descended upon Earth, expecting minimal resistance. They fired up their suppression fields, intending to disable humanity's communication networks instantly. But as soon as the field came online, their sensors detected unusual activity, systems blipping and data streams rerouting in unexpected directions. Earth's defenses flared to life faster than anticipated, and within moments, coordinated responses emerged from various corners of the globe. "Commander, there's a surge in Earth's communications," an alien officer reported, his voice tense. "They're bypassing our suppression fields. Entire sectors are still operational." The commander narrowed his eyes, annoyed by what he saw as an inconsequential setback. "Amplify the field strength," he ordered dismissively. "Their resistance will crumble under our power soon enough." But as the suppression fields intensified, Earth's defenses adapted yet again. Major cities synchronized their countermeasures, coordinating air defenses and scrambling fighter jets, while regional command centers sustained secure communications through previously hidden networks. Military units began operating with seamless precision, and the alien fleet suddenly found itself facing not a disorganized rabble, but a highly coordinated force. In orbit, a report streamed in from an alien operative monitoring Earth's weapon systems. "Commander, they're using cloaking devices to mask their movements." The operative's confusion was evident. "They're evading our detection protocols entirely." The commander frowned, irritated by humanity's unexpected display of competence. "Humans have cloaking technology?" he muttered, his confidence wavering. "How did our intelligence overlook this?" On the ground, small groups of human soldiers engaged alien forces with surprising accuracy. They used guerrilla tactics, ambushing patrols and disappearing before the aliens could retaliate. With compact, precise weapons, they picked off individual soldiers from a distance, employing highly effective stealth strikes. The aliens, unused to such unpredictable tactics, found themselves stalled, each encounter costing them more time and resources. As reports of these skirmishes piled up, the commander's irritation turned to frustration. The humans weren't just resisting, they were adapting, adjusting to alien strategies with unnerving speed. A particularly large-scale cyber attack crashed a critical segment of the alien fleet's data network, effectively blinding a subset of their forces. "Commander, our data feeds are being disrupted by human cyber attacks," the intelligence officer reported in alarm. They're hacking into our communication relays and feeding back false information to misdirect our troops. How is that possible? The commander snapped. Their computing capabilities should be primitive compared to ours. The officer hesitated. It seems they've repurposed their civilian networks for military use. They're rerouting power and bandwidth from private channels, creating ad hoc defense networks. And they're moving faster than anticipated. Fleets of drones, previously used for civilian purposes, soared into the skies, swarming alien scout ships and confusing their targeting systems. The drones employed evasive maneuvers that baffled the aliens, who had underestimated Earth's capacity for mobilizing unconventional forces. In one particularly bold move, a team of human engineers used repurposed mining equipment to bore into an alien dropship, sabotaging it from within and rendering its weapons useless. The aliens couldn't comprehend how humans, whom they had thought to be unsophisticated, had turned simple tools into potent instruments of war. The commander's confidence was slowly cracking. His officers exchanged glances, uncomfortable with the growing number of casualties. Each attempt to regain control met with another unforeseen tactic from the humans. Reports flooded in of human pilots using advanced countermeasures to dodge alien plasma beams, outfitted with reflexive armor that absorbed or deflected shots. A wave of disbelief began to ripple through the alien ranks, and morale wavered. In a last-ditch effort, the alien commander ordered a full-on assault on one of Earth's major cities, thinking that a show of force might finally cow the humans into submission. Yet, even here, they were met with more resistance than expected. In the urban sprawl, humans executed precise strikes, ambushing alien soldiers from alleyways, using abandoned buildings for cover, and vanishing without a trace. They're fighting as if they know every inch of their terrain, an alien ground commander reported, disheartened. Every attack we make is countered before we can fully execute it. Preposterous, the commander muttered under his breath, though doubt crept in. He had planned for an easy subjugation, not a drawn-out battle against an enemy capable of outthinking them at every turn. Watching the humans' resilience, he began to wonder if they'd made a critical error in judgment. Another report came through, this time from a battalion leader. We are sustaining significant losses in all sectors. I recommend a strategic retreat to regroup. The commander clenched his jaw, glaring at the planet below. Retreat? Against a race barely capable of interstellar travel? Unacceptable! Yet even as he spoke, he could see that his words rang hollow to his officers, who now wore expressions of disbelief and dismay. The commander could sense morale slipping further, eroded by each new report of unexpected human ingenuity. As Earth's resistance continued to stymie them, the aliens convened to discuss escalating their measures. Some argued for deploying heavier artillery, while others, with hints of hesitation, wondered if they should consider a more drastic retreat. What had started as a simple invasion had become a fight that was spiraling out of control, and for the first time, the aliens sensed that perhaps, just perhaps, they'd underestimated their opponent. The alien commander stared down at Earth, his confidence fully shaken. How are they doing this? He asked quietly, more to himself than anyone around him. His belief in his fleet's superiority had been unwavering, yet here he stood, facing an enemy that had no right to be causing so much trouble, and yet was. The humans, once deemed inferior, had proven to be anything but. The tide shifted abruptly. In a carefully orchestrated move, Earth's leaders coordinated a massive, surprise counterattack that would be remembered for generations. A team of skilled operatives, working in synchronicity with the military, launched an assault on a heavily fortified alien warship stationed over a crucial Earth city. This was a bold move, one the aliens hadn't thought humans capable of. As anti-air missiles and high-velocity projectiles struck the alien ship's vulnerable spots, explosions rocked its hull. The aliens, stunned and caught off guard, scrambled to assess the damage. From his command deck, the alien commander could only watch in shock as one of his largest ships suffered serious damage, its systems sputtering in disarray. His officers stared, horrified, at the live feed of the attack, realizing the humans had not only survived but were advancing on the offensive. This victory, however small, emboldened Earth's forces and sent a shiver through the alien ranks. Reports poured in that human hackers had begun infiltrating their systems. In labs and command centers worldwide, human tech experts had taken the bold step of adapting captured alien devices, reverse engineering them, and discovering ways to disable alien defenses. Earth's cyber units hacked into alien frequencies, deciphering command signals and implanting code to corrupt the systems within the alien ships. "Commander," an alien tech officer stammered, his composure cracking under pressure. "We're picking up strange signals from our systems. It seems they're attempting to override sections of our fleet control network." "What?" The commander could hardly believe what he was hearing. "How could they possibly have the knowledge to manipulate our tech? It appears they've developed methods to interface with our devices," the officer replied, his voice thin with panic. "Our own systems are being turned against us." As human forces breached the outer layers of the alien fleet's communications network, chaos spread like wildfire. Squadrons lost contact with command centers, and individual ships, suddenly isolated, began firing indiscriminately or breaking formation in their confusion. Alien officers, accustomed to precision and unquestioning control, found themselves in the middle of a barely controlled panic. Entire divisions were missing orders, and many were left helplessly drifting in orbit, waiting for commands that never arrived. Seizing the opportunity, Earth's forces launched targeted attacks on the disoriented alien ships. Aircraft squadrons and defense stations launched waves of missiles, overwhelming the enemy defenses now weakened by miscommunication and compromised systems. Ground troops, who had initially been at the mercy of alien patrols, used hacked alien surveillance drones to evade their would-be captors, disappearing and reappearing like ghosts, frustrating the aliens' every attempt to regain control. The alien commander was losing his grip on his forces. Each time he attempted to re-establish communication with his fleet, he was met with static or interference. The humans had managed to override his most secure channels, and his messages were being scrambled before they reached his soldiers. Panic rippled through the command deck as they watched their ship's movements become increasingly erratic, swayed by Earth's relentless interference. "What is happening out there?" he demanded, his voice a rare note of despair. His officers, usually resolute, glanced at each other, clearly out of their depth. Meanwhile, on the ground, human forces grew more and more confident. Soldiers who had once felt only fear now saw victory within reach, their morale skyrocketing as they took advantage of alien vulnerabilities. Units shared tactics and resources, communicating across countries and continents, unified by a fierce determination that the aliens could neither anticipate nor understand. In a war room deep below Earth's surface, a seasoned military leader spoke into a secure channel, his voice calm but powerful. "We've identified their weak points. They rely too heavily on central coordination. Isolate each squadron, and they'll fall like dominoes." His message echoed through Earth's defenses, energizing troops around the world. The realization dawned on every soldier: the aliens weren't invincible. They were vulnerable, reliant on rigid chains of command that Earth's cyber units had managed to dismantle. Across the alien fleet, confusion gave way to desperation. Their flawless strategies were crumbling as they tried to recoordinate. Ships drifted away from formation, some colliding with each other in the growing chaos. It became painfully clear to the alien commanders that humans were unlike any species they had encountered. They adapted quickly, finding creative solutions, bending the rules of warfare with an ease the aliens hadn't anticipated. They weren't just fighting a physical battle but a psychological one, exploiting every weakness, refusing to relent. On the bridge, the alien commander was silent, his eyes fixed on the debris field forming outside his window. His confidence had withered, and he watched the humans' relentless advance with something approaching fear. His officers, too, wore expressions of uncertainty, their former superiority shattered. This was a foe they had underestimated at every turn, one whose resilience was beyond their comprehension. An officer approached, his face tense with dread. "Commander, our forces are faltering. We're receiving distress signals from almost every ship. We can't regain control." The commander clenched his jaw, struggling to maintain his composure. These humans, how are they doing this? How could we have miscalculated so badly? The humans, invigorated by their victories, continued pressing the advantage. Ships that had once dominated the skies over Earth were now little more than floating wrecks. Alien captains attempted desperate maneuvers, trying to escape the onslaught, but human fighters intercepted each attempt. The scales had finally tipped in humanity's favor. Seeing the battle turning irrevocably, the commander's facade cracked, revealing a hint of desperation. "We must consider withdrawal," he muttered, though the words tasted bitter. His officers exchanged glances, the shame of admitting defeat evident on their faces. But they knew they had no other choice. The humans had proven too formidable, too relentless in their fight for survival. As the last of Earth's counterattacks disabled key alien vessels, humanity's resolve shone brighter than ever. They had taken control, forcing the aliens into a retreat they hadn't thought possible. The humans had risen from the ashes of their own destruction to stand tall, unyielding, proving once and for all that no force could diminish their spirit. And in the silence that followed, the alien commander was left to ponder the unimaginable, that these humans, whom he had dismissed so easily, had turned the tide and emerged victorious. The quiet tension in space settles for just a moment before a transmission cuts through the void, relayed from Earth's leaders directly to the alien fleet. The voice is calm, firm, and unmistakably resolute. "This is Earth Command. We propose a solution that will spare both sides needless losses. Surrender peacefully, and return to your territory. We will allow your retreat and ensure no further engagements, provided you acknowledge Earth's right to its own space. Continued hostilities will only end in further damage to your fleet and reputation." For a beat, there's silence on the alien vessels. Then, anger erupts among the alien commanders, disbelief woven through their voices. Surrender? To humans? The very suggestion feels absurd, even insulting. They murmur among themselves, furious at the notion of surrendering to a species they once considered little more than an amusing curiosity. On one bridge, an alien commander snarls. "They think they can demand surrender from us? We've dominated hundreds of worlds before these humans even discovered fire. This audacity is insulting." Another alien leader scoffs. "They should be pleading for mercy, not issuing demands. We could crush them if we gathered our forces." But the confidence in those words wavers. The memory of their recent failures, the disarray of their fleet, and the strength the humans displayed leaves a lingering doubt. Every countermove, every defense, every unexpected resilience the humans have shown has proven that Earth is not a planet to be conquered as easily as they'd assumed. A senior strategist speaks up, his voice cutting through the chatter with a somber realization. "Are you so certain? Look around us. These humans are not like the others we've faced. They are adaptable, tenacious, and equipped with a technology that even we struggled to counter. We've underestimated them once. To do so again would be unwise." A heavy silence follows as this truth sinks in. Alien soldiers and leaders alike exchange glances, sensing that this battle has gone in a direction none of them could have foreseen. They face an opponent unlike any they've encountered before, a species that does not merely fight to win but fights to survive, to protect, to defend something far greater than pride. They see it now in the humans' eyes, in their messages. Earth is more than just a planet, it is their home, their purpose. One younger alien officer speaks up, almost reluctantly. Maybe these humans have earned their right to be here. Look at what they've achieved. They've developed technology, tactics, and resolve that rivals our own. Perhaps it's worth considering their proposal. We're weakened, and our forces will only suffer further losses if we press on." His words shock some of the others, but his reasoning resonates with many. Even the most hardened alien soldiers feel a pang of respect, a grudging admiration for humanity's resilience, their indomitable spirit. It's a quality that cuts through all the differences between them, revealing a strength the aliens find strangely compelling. One by one, voices emerge, murmuring agreements, reluctant but steady. For the first time, surrender doesn't seem like a disgrace, but rather a practical choice, a recognition of a foe who has proven themselves worthy. More alien officers voice their support for a truce, and a reluctant shift occurs among the ranks. Slowly, the alien leaders find themselves faced with a choice they never expected to make. Finally, the alien leader takes a long, steady breath, casting a final glance at the wreckage of his once formidable fleet. The image of the human prototype ship looms in his mind, a symbol of Earth's stubborn, defiant hope. There is no other option that preserves what remains of their honor and forces. In a calm, measured tone, he replies to Earth Command. We accept your terms, humans. Your strength has proven considerable. We will withdraw our forces. But know this, we do not do this out of fear, but out of respect for the strength your people have shown. The alien fleet begins to shift, aligning for a slow retreat. The human forces, victorious, stand by, watching them go with the knowledge that Earth has shown its strength and will. This day will echo across the galaxy, a day when humanity didn't just survive, they won. In the quiet aftermath of the battle, representatives from both sides gather in a large, neutral chamber aboard an alien vessel. The air is tense but carries an underlying respect that was absent before. The alien leaders regard the humans with new eyes, no longer dismissive or mocking. Instead, there's an unspoken acknowledgement of their strength, an understanding that humanity is a force to be reckoned with. The lead human representative stands tall, scanning the faces of those across the table. Earth demands your full withdrawal from our space, he states firmly. Additionally, reparations for the damage inflicted on our planet and an agreement of non-hostility moving forward. We want no further threats to our people. The alien commander nods slowly, his eyes betraying traces of humility. Your terms are fair, he concedes, his tone careful. And more than deserved, considering how thoroughly you have proven yourselves. The commander's gaze travels from one human face to another, absorbing the determination etched into each one. We have never encountered a species that adapted so swiftly to new challenges. Your resilience is unlike anything we have seen. For that we owe you respect. In a brief, heavy silence, the representatives on both sides consider the weight of this new understanding. They are two civilizations with vastly different histories, yet in this moment, they see each other as equals. One of the younger alien diplomats clears his throat and speaks. Perhaps, in time, our people could find common ground. We have much knowledge to share, and it appears that we have much to learn from you as well. The human representative acknowledges the gesture with a nod. Perhaps, he replies, his tone measured. But for now, we need our distance. Humanity has shown its strength today, and we have earned the right to decide the terms of our own future. This response is met with a hint of admiration from the alien delegation, though they remain wary, aware that their underestimation of humanity led them here. The alien commander inclines his head respectfully, marking the shift in dynamics. He speaks slowly, carefully choosing his words. Know this, humans, there are those in the galaxy who will not be as understanding. We are not the only ones who look down upon your kind, but we may be the last to make that mistake. The human representative's gaze is steady. We'll take that as fair warning. But Earth will be ready. As the meeting concludes, both parties stand, exchanging formal nods before the alien leaders retreat to their vessels. Across the fleets, alien soldiers prepare for departure, glancing warily toward Earth as they begin to understand the mistake they nearly made. Humanity's power and resilience are undeniable, and even among their ranks, murmurs of respect circulate. On Earth, news of the victory spreads, filling people with a pride that touches every corner of the planet. In military command centers and laboratories, engineers and scientists analyze the battle, refining their technology, and preparing for whatever lies ahead. Humanity has been tested, and they have emerged stronger, wiser, and more united than before. As the alien fleet drifts out of Earth's orbit, the human pilot of the prototype ship watches them go, a glint of pride and defiance in her eyes. She knows that humanity's place in the galaxy has changed forever. They are no longer observers, nor are they prey to be conquered. Earth has staked its claim as a formidable force, one that will not be silenced or intimidated. In the months that follow, there are occasional communications between Earth and the alien coalition. Messages of tentative diplomacy flow between them, marking the beginning of a new, cautious relationship. Each side watches the other, wary yet intrigued by the potential of what an alliance, or rivalry, could bring. Humanity, meanwhile, prepares. They know that their victory has not only protected them, but has also placed them firmly on the galactic map. Now, other civilizations are bound to take notice. Earth's leaders, scientists, and soldiers look to the stars with a renewed sense of purpose, ready to defend their world and explore what lies beyond. For now, Earth's people celebrate. But deep within, they recognize this victory as more than just a battle won. It's a turning point, a new chapter in which humanity no longer merely survives but stands proudly as a species that demands its place among the stars.